fliko. Ruxin said current drum recording process. Okay, my current drum recording process. Neumann U87. Overhead, it's faced towards the floor tom. I used to face it like this. You see a lot of people have their overheads directly above the snare, or even sometimes maybe a little up this way. This is a really good position. I'd highly recommend this, almost like right in your face, straight down, or straight down right here, right in between, like in between where your knee is, in between the snare and the floor tom facing the kick. This is another great overhead position, but I've been liking this position. Seems kind of random, seems kind of weird, but I saw someone else do it and I tried it. It's just been working for how I've been playing. It's really far from the hi-hat. So the mic's all the way over here and the hi-hat's all the way over here instead of the mic being right here where it's very, very close. So it picks up so much less hat, and U87s are so like bright and they're so clean that the closer it is to the snare and the hat and the cymbal and everything that's giving off so much high resonance, the more like I can't really use this mic for the overall balance. It kind of feels like it just adds to my snare and my hat. Now when I put it over here, it feels like you're kind of hearing a lot of kick, a lot of toms, a lot of the whole drum sound in just the overhead instead of just the pingy, bright stuff. So I like this position, U87. This is a Stager SR3. It might be hard to see from where you guys are at right here, but it's basically on top of my kick drum. I actually sometimes like it a little more in this way. These are Triad Orbit stands that I'm using, by the way. The good thing about Triad Orbit stands is if you want to change mics out, all you got to do is pull this lever, and I can take the mic right out. I don't have to unscrew anything. I don't ever have to fucking screw and unscrew a bunch of mic clips. All my mic clips are just push and pull. So I can literally take this mic off of here, take this mic off of here, and just flip them all together, and it's super easy to do. SR3 from Stager, ribbon microphone over the kick, facing my knee, facing inwards. U87, Neumann U87, in this weird spot in between the toms. If I move this cymbal, you can see what's going on here a little better. This is another Triad Orbit stand, so I can take this snare microphone, pop it right out, go change it with another snare mic whenever I want. And what I have on top of it is this little shield, Crashguard. So basically this Crashguard makes it so all that you can really hear is just the snare drum. I can't hear any of this hi-hat because this guard is blocking the sound from the hi-hat in the snare drum microphone, and inside of here is the microphone. I'm using one of those new Telefunken microphones. I think it's called the M80. I'm using the M82 on the kick, so I'm using two brand new Telefunken microphones. Everything else I'm using is vintage, but these microphones are only a couple $100 each. When you see most drum recording setups, people are using $5,000 microphones on the kick. You know what I mean? Like a U47 FET that costs you $6 grand on the kick drum. Like, these are a couple $100. They're very, very inexpensive compared to most everything that I record with that I really like. And they're my favorite thing. It's my favorite kick drum mic by far. I've tested it against all the vintage kick drum mics that I have, other ones from my friends. I'm lucky I'm in a position I can buy exactly the microphone I want to buy. So I'm not using this because it's cheap or for any other reason. I'm using it because it's really good. Telefunken M80 or M82, that's my snare and kick microphone. One's the snare, one's the kick. But there's a microphone in front of my kick right here, and that's that Telefunken one I was talking about. Oh, I can't pick it up. Sorry, it's the wires are wrapped around, or I'll pick it up. Then I have this snare mic, but my snare mic's right here. It's usually facing pretty like straight down towards the rim, and it'll be about an inch above the rim, sometimes a little bit more. And then, yeah, I'm not getting too much cymbal bleed. This drum sound I really like right now. No room mic. No room mic. I'm not using this mic over here for anything. I used to set up a microphone across the room. Like I would set up a microphone all the way over here, and then this microphone over here would get the whole drum sound. I'm not doing that at all anymore. I'm only using close microphones, and I'm getting exactly the drum sounds that I want. So I don't think I'm gonna change anytime soon until I need something new, or I'm looking for something new. But I was always concerned with, like, if you're not using a room microphone, you're f***ing it up. If you're not using a room microphone, it's not a real full drum sound. It's just, I don't know. For me, I've been getting exactly what I want with just 4 mics right there. So it's those 4 microphones. Those are the positions of the microphones. That was always the hardest thing for me to understand when I started recording drums, was really just like where the they need to go. But it just takes practice. Everything runs into this console right here. Everything runs into this console right here. So this is microphone 1, 2, 3, 4. These are my 2 piano microphones, and this is my room stereo microphone that I'm not using. That's over by the piano. But this is a Neve console. This is a vintage 70s Neve broadcast console, 5442. Guys, this is not doing any EQ. I'm not using any filters or anything on this. All I'm using this for is preamps and volume. All this is volume. That's all it is. I'm just using these for preamps. This is just where my microphones go before they go into my Symphony right here. So they just go right here and then they go right there. This is not some crazy thing. All of you can work this, because you know how you work this. You go like this. That's it. And if you need more gain overall, you just click this little knob and that gives you more volume. That's all you need to know. So this is a super easy thing. It's just like right on my desk. I love the feel of it. I love the sound of these preamps. My good buddy Mac DeMarco has one of these that actually has more channels than mine. But I'd heard Mac's and I really loved it. Someone said 10K. These are not going for 10K anymore. Even in this size, these are going for way more than that. But I got it for around that. About maybe 2 years ago, a year ago. I don't know. But this is a big key to the sound just because it is vintage Neve preamps. It has a thing. But these are not the super expensive ones. There's preamps that you see people using where one channel strip will be more than the price of this whole thing. But yes, I have this built into my desk and I have it modded, which means someone did a custom modification so that I have direct outs for every single in and out. This is not built that way. This has one output. That's how it normally works. I now have direct in, direct out. So I can go in and out of any channel by itself without having to go through the whole board. So that's a modification that my homie did for me. My homie Dan McNeil modded it for me. So this is not original. This has a modification to it. So all the stuff that we talked about, all those microphones, they go into that thing. And then after they go to that thing, everything just goes to my interface. After everything goes to my interface, I'll run it back into hardware. I'll run it into my Bg2 compressor. I'll run it into usually the first thing I run it to is the Terry EQ. I use the Terry CEQ. Usually the first thing I put on the drums is that EQ. Then sometimes some saturation or some weird old tape echo thing or something up to the sound. And then I'll usually compress the up version. Someone said, can you talk about your tape machine? Was looking into getting one. My tape machine is an Otari MX5050 2-channel. It's highly recommended to me by a lot of people who use way more expensive tape machines. So I got it, and it is really clean. Sometimes almost too clean. I haven't cleaned my heads in a long time, so it's probably not in the best condition right now. I haven't been recording through it because the channels that I use that for, I'm using for cassette right now. So I have 2 ins, 2 outs, 2 inputs, 2 outputs that go to those 2 channels. Right now I'm using that for my cassette player.